everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So, more work on the garden wall and the pillar here. I think I'm going to be stitching more almost a horizontal today rather than my usual diagonal because, yeah, there's sort of a wide strip here of color the way it's on the pattern. It's sort of like, yeah, it's like a horizontal band on the pillar, so. Yeah, couldn't get as much progress done in the last couple days. I jinxed myself by saying my neck was better, and then I moved it wrong. I was rolling over in my sleep and I hurt it, so yeah. I'm feeling better today, but yeah, I had a couple days where I couldn't really stitch that much because my neck just did not want to be in that position. So, okay, just making sure I'm at the right spot. Yeah, this area can look rather similar, so I have to be careful I don't mess it up there. Yeah, so it's a bit of a nicer day. I can actually see blue skies, so there's smoke is cleared up at least for now. Still not too cold, so I went for my walk outside, which was nice. Yeah, I have my my phone read books to me as I walk. I'm too cheap to actually pay for audiobooks. But, oh, for Pete's sake, what are you doing? Okay, that is weird. I am going to see if I can close Pattern Keeper and restart it and see if that will sort it out because it's being strange. Okay. All right, that seems to be better. Yeah, I don't know why it glitches like that sometimes, but it's pretty annoying when it does. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, I don't know how it works on an Android, but on an iPhone, you can use the accessibility features to get it to, it will read your Kindle books to you, so which is kind of nice if you have a bunch and you don't want to pay extra to get an audiobook or whatever. I know you can borrow some for free from libraries, but yeah. So it is a computer voice reading it. So sometimes, like if it doesn't know what the word is, it will spell it out. So it's kind of funny every now and then, instead of it saying like Mrs., it'll say MRS. And I'm like, MRS, oh, okay. I have to kind of translate it in my head, yeah. But still, it's pretty good. It's nice so that you can put in your headphones and go for a walk and listen to a story. Yeah. It does eat up the battery pretty quick though, because the screen has to be on while it's reading. It's not like an audio file, so that's the one drawback. Yeah. So, but yeah, I shared an article about it on Facebook, and one of my friends was like, oh my gosh, thanks so much, because he has to do long commutes. And so, yeah, that's a way he can actually get through some of his to be read books. Because, yeah, mine is not even a to be read pile now. It's a mountain by now. Yeah, it's a stash beyond life expectancy pile of books. So, yeah. That's kind of how they got me sucked into ebooks, was they had so many free ones, and then a lot of them, even like not just self-published, but like mainstream authors will have them on sale for like $2. Yeah, $2 for a book. I can't really turn that down if it looks like it's something I'll be interested in. So yeah, I can't even. I have different collections on my Kindle. And I actually have to have 2 to read files because I ended up with too many in one file and they wouldn't stay in there. Once I got to 1,000 books, they didn't want to stay in that one collection. So yeah, I discovered I have 2 read and then 2 read and then number 2, my second collection, because yeah. And I don't keep everything loaded on there. I only keep about 10% of my books actually on there. The rest are in the cloud and you have to download them when you want to read them, but yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't think I would ever get on the ebooks bandwagon, but yeah. I caved. I hardly ever read paper anymore. Like maybe 5% of the books I read in a year are paper. The rest are, yeah, the rest are all ebooks. So. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of nice too with the Kindle. I have an actual Kindle, and then I have the Kindle app on my phone, and it automatically syncs for you. So it's really nice. You can seamlessly switch between devices. And apparently for some of the books that are audiobooks, they have what they called whisper sync. So you could actually tandem read it. So you could read the print and listen to the audio, and it would sync between those two as well, which is really cool. So yeah, like there's one lady saying she'll listen to it while she's, you know, driving, and then when she's at home, she will read it, and it will automatically, yeah, just jump to the point where she was, and she doesn't have to worry about finding it. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, there was one I shared where people were saying about, a lot of people say that, you know, audiobooks don't count as books. And somebody said, well, it's right in the title. They said, you know, if a blind person is reading it using Braille, do you not count it as reading because technically they're touching it instead of, you know, using their eyes? Like, and I said, well, and they said also, oh, what was it? That actually having someone read the story aloud to you is how a lot of people experienced books for a long time, because, you know, not everybody learned how to read. And so, yeah, you would have one person read the book aloud to, you know, a group of people. And I said, yeah, experiencing stories is sort of one of the best things about being human, in my opinion. So however that works for you, whether that's audiobooks or actually reading it yourself or seeing adaptations on the screen, yeah, I say whatever works for you. I celebrate that. And then somebody said, oh, you know, I never thought of it that way before, as experiencing stories, but that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Every culture has their stories that were handed down and shared, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, like I said, the colors are kind of going in a band across this because of the design here. So I'm just kind of, yeah, working across several diagonals for a bit. Yeah, that just did not want to come out. The needle's still on. So yeah, just following that for a bit. A little bit of sky here right along this edge. And then we'll be done with those colors for a bit until we get to the next pass, I would say. And then it's ocean, I believe. Oh, at least I'm calling it ocean. I don't know whether it's supposed to be a lake, but the water. Yeah, so I said the piece of music that I downloaded the other day might be too hard for me to, but I decided I'm gonna try and persevere. One thing that's tough is the arranger, when they wrote it, they didn't really use octave lines very much. They used ledger lines, which is the extra lines above or below the music staff. And yeah, you know, when you're getting to 5 ledger lines, that's getting tough to read. I actually went and printed out a chart of the ledger lines so I could go through the music and sort of write some of the notes on there to help me remember, sort of if I have the first note of an arpeggio, I usually can remember what goes between it because, yeah, I did take a little music theory along with my actual piano lessons. Took a couple years of music theory, so yeah, there's a if you know what key you're in, you can generally know, whoops, what notes are going to be in that arpeggio. Yeah, I always found it really interesting that something as emotional and expressive as music can be captured and written down, mathematically. It's really kind of interesting how there's rules to it and such. Yeah. Although there's always still your own interpretation and expression of the music, and we'll tell you speed up here, slow down here, and some of it is still just nobody performs it quite the same way. So yeah, somebody said, what was it, sheet music is just a sound recipe, and it's like, well, I guess they're not wrong. It kind of is. Ooh. I wouldn't have thought to put it that way before, but yeah. Or someone said, if art is how we decorate space, music is how we decorate time. It's like, yeah, that's kind of a neat idea. I wouldn't have put it like that, but that's makes sense. Yeah. I said experiencing stories and creating things, I think, are the best things about being alive. Yeah, I'm finding, so I've been picking away at trying to learn the music, and I have to take a lot of brain breaks because, yeah, it's a complex arrangement. I know the simple version of it, and then, yeah, it's the theme from Final Fantasy X, the To Xanarkand. It's such a beautiful piece of music. It's one of my favorites. And yeah, I learned to play the original arrangement, piano arrangement, years ago. So we first played that game, I think, in 2006, something like that. And yeah, just thought, wow, that music's so beautiful. I've got to learn how to play it. So yeah, it was nice that I was able to find it online. I said, yeah, that's one thing I love with the digital age. Used to be I'd have to, hopefully I could find the name of the piece and write it down and go to the music store and see if I could find it. And now I can just, yeah, go on the internet, and usually within 5 minutes I can find it, pay for it, download it, and start learning it. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah, like the arrangement is, I find it harder because he likes to use sort of the whole entire keyboard. So yeah, there's a lot of moving your arms up and down the whole length of it, and lots of 16th notes. So it's a lot of careful counting there. But I'm hoping I can manage it because, yeah, it's always fun. Yeah, it was interesting because the guy also recommended an app that you can play along with it. It can listen to you and tell you which notes you got wrong and stuff like that. Show you ways to place your fingers that makes it more efficient to play. And yeah, it's pretty cool. But I'm not willing to pay $200 a year, so I'll work it out myself. So yeah, that was mostly what I did yesterday, was not much playing, but just going through it and figuring out finger placement that would be the most efficient, since some composers or arrangers, whatever, they include the recommended finger placement, but yeah, some don't. And sometimes, I don't know, I guess because my hands are smaller than a lot of people who play, I often have to change the finger arrangement anyway because, yeah, I can't possibly reach as far as the person who arranged it could. Yeah, I said some people must have hands the size of dinner plates. I certainly do not, so. Or they said you can roll the chords, which is not play them all at the same time, but kind of play through them. So like if it's 4 notes, you play the first note and then the sort of the last 3 or something, but or play all 4 but like in quick succession. But yeah, or sometimes I just decide to eliminate the very bottom note because my hand just cannot stretch that far. So it's not exactly what the arranger wrote, but hey, I'm not in a competition, so it's all right. Because yeah, I used to do that when I was a kid. And in that case, you have to play it exactly as written, or you get dinged. Yeah, I never did write an exam though. Well, I say write, but I wrote the written part, but I never did pass the actual physical exam because a couple days before I slipped we were doing a fire drill, and the grass was wet, and I slipped, and when I landed, I caught myself with my hand, and my finger was kind of like this, and then I landed my weight on it, and yeah, I was lucky I didn't break anything, but I sprained it really badly, and so it was like, well, I won't be playing piano for a while. I won't be able to pass a test. So I had to have my fingers taped together to keep the one that I had injured braced properly. So yeah. I was lucky at least it was my left hand and not my right hand because I'm right-handed. And yeah, trying to write with your first 2 fingers taped together is not an easy feat. So yeah, but I was in a few competitions, just local ones they would have every year. Yeah, I won a few of them too. So yeah, I took lessons for about 8 years. I quit partway through high school. Well, I just had so much going on. Also, I was playing the flute in tour band at the time, so yeah, I didn't really have enough time to devote to 2 instruments, so yeah, the piano got dropped. Yeah, my sister took piano lessons too, and she played the violin for a while. So I said it kind of ruined movies for me now where they're pretending to play, because I could totally tell when someone's not playing because I know what real violin playing looks like. Yeah. And yeah, it's painful. I'll watch it being just like, oh my gosh, your technique is all wrong. Like the bow is not staying centered where it should be. It's going all over the place, and it's vibrato and the person's hand's completely still, which means, yeah, they're obviously not actually playing. And yeah, there actually was one Christmas movie where I couldn't tell for sure whether the actor was playing, and I looked it up and apparently not, but that she had worked with a violin teacher for several weeks. And yeah, you could tell because it looked very close. I really had a hard time telling whether whether she was actually playing or not. So yeah, usually I can tell pretty quickly that someone does not actually know how to play. Yeah, it's funny. It's like when you know too much, can wreck things for you. My husband and son were big fans of the Mythbusters show, and they took on so of course we'd be watching movies, and now it's like, yeah, it's ruined for us because they'll do something in the movie and we know it totally doesn't work because they tried and tested it on the Mythbusters, and yeah, it doesn't work. Like they had, you know, where they said using dust to make like laser beams show up. They said, no, if you do that, it interrupts the beam enough that it will set it off. Yeah, that sort of thing. Or same thing, like they had spray of something to show the beam so that you can avoid them. And they said, yeah, that's just, if you can get the beam to show up, it'll be enough that it will interrupt the beam and then the alarm will go off anyway. So yeah. Oh, there's a little knot in this one, I think. Yep. Sheesh. Teeny, teeny one. I'll just trim that. Yeah, they had all sorts of stuff they tested, and there was one they tested something and they didn't expect the explosion to be so big, and it blew out a bunch of people's windows, and so they went to apologize, and they had the lady, at the time she was visibly pregnant, and so she was the one because they figured, well, hopefully people won't yell too hard at a pregnant lady, right? Oh dear. Yeah, some of the ones that they tested were ones that people wrote in. And I said, I think they, sometimes people were just trolling them to see what they could do, get them to do, because they had one where they were claiming that it's faster to swim through syrup than it is to swim through water. I'm like, they just wanted to see if they could get you guys to go swimming through a pool full of syrup. And they did. And yeah, they concluded that no, it's not faster, which I wasn't surprised because, you know, syrup is more viscous, so of course it's thicker than water, so of course it's going to be slower for you to swim through. Okay. Yeah, or they did one about like the phrase to knock someone's socks off. So yeah, they actually had viewers sent in hand knit socks that they put on a mannequin, and they tested it and said, no, you can knock someone's shoes off, but socks are too tight. Yeah, the only way you could actually knock someone's socks off is if their socks are way too big. Yeah, my husband said that's totally a job he would love doing. Yeah, he's an engineer, so he's always designing things. So he said, yeah, he would love to come up with the kind of, figure out what stuff they would need to test the myths. So yeah, they busted the one about, they took on Robin Hood myths, and they busted the one about splitting somebody else's arrow in half in a target. They said, yeah, you could hit an arrow and it could get stuck together, but they said the way wood grain works, that is just not possible to actually split the arrow the whole way through. Plus, the arrow doesn't have enough velocity to get through a whole other arrow either. So yeah, you could hit another arrow and sort of split part of it, maybe an inch or two down, but that you couldn't actually split it all the way to the target like they like to show in the, yeah, Robin Hood. So okay. Yes, as you can see, there's a little bit of the rest of the sky there, maybe a bit of hills, and then some leaves hanging off the side of that pillar there. But yeah, as I was saying earlier about trying to learn a new piece of music, I always forget just how much work it is sometimes. Because yeah, when you're first trying it, it's just not even really recognizable as the song as you try to make sure you get every single chord right and go super, super slow. Yeah. It's funny though, I always have this, oh, this piece is too hard. And then after I learn the piece, it's like, well, I guess it wasn't that hard if I was able to play it. It was like a meme I shared the other day, and it says, if I fail at something, it's like, yeah, this just proves I suck at everything. And then when I succeed at something, well, that was easy for me, so it doesn't count. It's like, yeah. Ugh. The lies our brains tell us, hey? But yeah, I had to tell my husband not to brag about my playing because I said, yeah, to you, you've never played, so it sounds really good to you, but I know I'm only an intermediate player. So I'd say, don't talk me up that much, Yeah, there was like, I think 10 grades and I got to the 5th, so yeah, right in the middle, so. I'm kind of bad. I kind of quit right when it got really hard. Because yeah, for me, it came fairly naturally to me. So sort of right at the middle was where it started to get a lot tougher. Yeah, that's kind of where I quit. Well, when you want to get to the top of anything, that's when you have to really be devoted. You usually have to start when you're like, 3 to 5 years old and it becomes your life. So, yeah. I enjoy it, but I didn't want it to be my life, so. There we go. Okay, just making sure there was no knots there. No, that's just other ends I'm feeling from pin stitches. Okay, good. Okay, so I think I'm going to cut this off right at that row for now. I'm going to keep working my way across to the right, and then sort of once I reach as far as I've gotten to the right, I'm going to come back over and do it all over again. Yeah, I was saying that, one of my favorite pieces comes from video games. I don't think video game soundtracks get enough credit, because some of them are just, they're as good as movie soundtracks. The composer for that game, Uematsu, he's a genius in my opinion. Yeah, I bought some of his stuff that was for other games I never even played, but on the strength of his name alone, and then listening to the little preview on iTunes, yeah. Yeah, or sometimes like TV theme music could be really good, but yeah, a lot of stuff doesn't have theme music anymore. They want to squeeze in one more commercial. I find the streaming stuff is more likely to have an opening credits music. I really liked the credits from Westworld. I thought was really, really nice. Yeah, I enjoyed that show, although the first season was the best. Yeah. Other seasons were good, but it wasn't as good as that first season. Well, for one thing, I didn't have Anthony Hopkins after the first season, and yeah, I'll watch basically anything he's in because he is a masterful actor. Yeah, I watched, what was it called? Father or The Father, something like that, that he was in, which was, I think, based on a play, and it was about an old man who was dealing with, age-related memory loss and Alzheimer's, I believe. And yeah, it was, so good because it was kind of confusing which was intentional because, of course, it's trying to put the viewer sort of into the eyes of the main character and what he's going through. And so you never quite knew what was real and what was just him imagining stuff. And yeah, it was masterfully done. And he made me cry at the end. So, yeah. So we're closing in on 21%. So yeah, I think 25 was a bit ambitious. I think we're going to be more around 23. So we'll pass the quarter done mark next month for sure, barring any major upheaval in my life. Yeah, sorry my kitchen vent cover's being noisy today. It's a bit of a windy one. Yeah, I was finally able to untape that because the bird that was trying to live in there gave up. I had to tape it shut for a while because, yeah, he kept trying to make a nest in there. That's not happening. Yeah, we have some trees in our yard. You're welcome to nest in there, but not in my not in my kitchen range hood. That's not going to work. Well, I said blue sky, but now that wind is pushing some rain clouds in, so we'll see. Forecast did say there was a chance of rain, so. Oh, I remember when my son was little, he had difficulty with the fact that the weather forecast is just a guess. He would ask me, is it going to rain? And I'd look it up and say, well, there's a 80% chance, so probably. But he's like, but is it going to? I'm like, well, I don't know. He's like, he was, so surprised. I mean, he was like 4, so, they think we actually know these things when we don't. And I said, well, even the meteorologists and stuff, they don't know for sure, generally, unless it's, 100% chance of rain, even though I've had a few times it said that and we actually didn't get any rain. But yeah, I said all they can do is, take the data and analyze it and extrapolate what they think is most likely to happen, but in the end, it is still just the best guess they've got. An educated guess, but still a guess. We are at 100 stitches done now. But yeah, so he'd get really frustrated, and I had to tell him, you know, sometimes the answer really is just, I don't know, because we don't know everything. Some people like to think they do, but, you know, nobody does. That is a definite not this time. There we go. I was able to pick it out. Well, I'm glad I did my walk earlier than today, because yeah, that wind is really picking up. Not so pleasant. Oh, wait a minute. Looking in the wrong place, aren't I? Yeah. Oh, what have I done here? Oh, for Pete's sake. I've messed something up. Oh, yeah. Okay, hang on a minute. What have I done here? Yeah, I think I was looking in the wrong spot. Oh, yeah, let's see. Oh my gosh, I really mucked something up, I think. Okay, back down here again. There should be. Oh, I see. Nope, I was just looking in the wrong spot. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, this is here. I don't know why I marked this as done when it wasn't done. Okay, and then what have I done up here? Nope, that is correct there. Okay, that's... Let's just see. Yeah, I don't know what I've done here. This is not right. Oh, okay. That's there. Let's see. Okay, so this is correct. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, I parked this one wrong. And I have some marked there as being parked when they aren't, because I think I was working in the wrong square. Yeah, okay. Okay, I think I did do this one. And then I have this part here. Okay, no, this is correct. Okay, I don't know what I was... looking at? I was thinking this pink here, that it was the 152 for some reason, that it was this color here, and then I really mixed myself up. That's what happened. I tell you. People say, don't you get mixed up? And I say, no, I don't, but as you can see, sometimes I do. Yeah, so I marked this as done, and it actually was not, and I'm not parking it there, which means what's parked up here. No, that is correct. Okay, so yeah. And this is why I have grid lines, because yeah, trying to figure out where I went wrong without them would have been even tougher. Oh my gosh. Yeah, like I said, this whole edge can look similar, so you have to make sure you're in the right big grid square there so you don't mess that up. But yeah, so now I'm going through and just cross-checking, and yes, I am 3 from the top, I'm 4 in. Those are the correct threads parked below, so now I know. I'm back on track. Yeah, and of course sometimes along this edge you have threads of the same color, so it's unfortunately sometimes if you're not on the ball, it can you can grab the wrong one and stitch the pattern for a different big square in the wrong place. I have done that before. Of course, that's not just a parking thing. I've done that before when I was also cross-country stitching, so yeah. Yeah, I say I'm less likely to make mistakes with this method, but I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not going to make mistakes, because I absolutely am. Should be able to get one more stitch out of that thread. I think this one's pretty short too. Oh, no, actually it's not. Okay. Yeah, I've seen some people where they grid with the erasable pen, and they'll actually write the row lines on it to help them. I know which row line because I know I'm stopping at 140, so that's why I was able to figure out where I was. Okay, get that last stitch out of this thread here before tying it off. Okay, just trying to see how far I want to go before I head back over to the left again. Oops, oh my gosh. Throwing my needles away there. Oh, and again, I have to search for that one with a magnet. It didn't stay stuck to the magnet, I think. Sometimes they fly off and end up in my grime guards. I try to find them before I take the grime guards off so they don't fly across the room. Because, yeah, then people might find them in a painful way, and I don't want that. See, I almost went to the wrong big square there until I realized the grid lines wouldn't match. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm now going to go back to the corner there and work my way out again. Yeah, so like I said, working more horizontally today than diagonally. Just following the colors. Try not to do white and ecru on camera, but I guess it was kind of unavoidable in this area. That's 2 strands in there. I was folding it for a loop start. That would have made it 4 strands. That won't work. Goodness, look at that. Okay. Split the strand there, but yeah, it looks okay now, so. Yeah, the needles I use, they're not as sharp as a sewing needle, but they are a bit more sharp than the usual tapestry needle, so I find it makes it easier to make my pin stitches, but then that means I can accidentally shred the floss a little more easily too. So kind of the trade-off there. Okay, I think I might stitch in both directions here, so I did this row here, and I'm going to stitch this row here. I think that will effectively use up this thread. And then I didn't have to add another one until this one is done. I don't mind doing that, but if I don't have to, then I won't. I think I can do a few more. So might as well use up this thread, not waste any. Could do one more actually. Okay, now I think this thread here still got a needle on it. We'll see. Yeah. So I might as well stitch with it. Okay, that one does not. As you can see, I've got quite a few threads parked there, so that's going to get interesting, I think. Oh my gosh. Oh, pardon me. Oh. Yeah, so thankfully my neck is not bugging me today. Yesterday was bad, but today I haven't had to take anything for it or put any pain relief patches on it, so yeah, I'm on the mend. I was kind of, like I said, wondering if I should go in for another treatment, but it seems to be going back to being good, so yeah. I was saying the other day how it was so much better, so I guess I jinxed myself. Okay. Oh, goodness. Stitch from this side because I want the thread to be on that side, on the left hand side when I park it again. Actually, I can also do that one there. Yeah, I like when I can do a bunch in a row like this. Okay, so I think I'm going to take a break soon because my stomach is starting to growl at me, so that's a reminder that I need to go and eat. Get this to, there we go. Okay. Find the envelope to put this back. Make sure I remember to mark that is done so I don't get mixed up later. My yeah, over 200 stitches done today. I'm closing in on that 21% completed. Probably will be by next session. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope to see you here again another time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.